Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. Let's talk about it. So excited to be here with you guys this evening. I am here with my co-hosts, and they are also co-producers with Keep It Real TV. So we're excited to be here to talk about tonight relationships. That can be a topic that is really, I don't know, can go in so many different directions. I believe that when we think about relationships, just sometimes being intentional about it can make all the difference with how we communicate, the things that we expect out of other people. So I'm excited to have this conversation this evening, and we're going to be keeping you up to speed with all the things that are happening in our world with Keep It Real TV. So before we get into this conversation, I want to introduce myself, and then we'll go around and introduce ourselves before we get into today's conversation. So I am Lachelle Atkins, also known as America's Supermom. I'm the mother of 15 children, and I am a TV producer. I help you to monetize and create a global impact with your messages through Keep It Real TV on the Zandra TV network. We are passionate about positive programming and content around personal development and overcoming obstacles. You know, my own journey was about me overcoming 13 years of depression and 3 hospitalizations. And so I'm passionate about putting a microphone to other people's voices over things that they've overcome in their journey that can help not only inspire other people, but give others hope. So I'm excited to be here today, and I am going to yield the mic to you, Anita. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Lachelle. Look, it was a race to get here in this chair tonight, y'all. What? I'm talking about, I just got from the gym, got in the shower. I was like, oh God, I got like 15 minutes. But I am just so happy to be here with you ladies, as always. I am Anita in the Biz Coach, known on social media as, and also Anita Newsom. And I am a producer, TV producer with Lachelle. And on the Zandra TV network, my channel is called You Make a Difference TV. And I have a passion for, giving a platform for people that are doing, extraordinary things in our communities and beyond. So that's one of the things I do. I'm also an international best-selling author, as well as a funding strategist for nonprofits and businesses. So those are some of the things I do, and I love to empower women as well, to give them a message so that they can find their voice in whatever platform that they find themselves on. So I am excited to be here tonight, and thank you so much, Lachelle.
You are welcome. All right. And so next we have Ari. Hey, Ari.
Hey y'all. I'm so blessed to be up here with you guys. I'm the newbie. I'm the young one in the group. The baby, if you will have it. I am the baby. But anyway, I am Ari Wells. I am your freedom coach. Hey Jennifer. Hey girl.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My goodness.
Good evening, right? I am Ari Wells. Consider me your freedom coach. I am author of Girl, You're Free. Also author of 30-Day Transformational Journey with Girl, You're Free. That's also coming soon. And I'm also an up-and-coming producer with Lachelle as well with Keep It Real TV.
Love that. Awesome. And we're glad for you to join us, Jennifer. We never know who's going to come. So it's exciting. We're like, oh, Jennifer's here. So,
Yes.
Jennifer, over to you for your introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. Uh, I am Jennifer Thompson, and I am the editor for I Am Magazine. It's a magazine that is a digital magazine that specializes in telling stories, your story, to encourage others, to inform others, to motivate and inspire others. So, if you're concerned about your personal growth, if you want to influence others or grow internationally, we are the magazine for you.
Love that. So we are so excited for you guys all to join us. Again, we're going to be talking about relationships, and we just, there's not enough time. I think hour, 45 minutes, whatever. It's just not enough time for a lot of these topics. But we just want to raise awareness, get the conversation started, and it's something that you might want to write about, in an article for I Am Magazine, right? Or
Right.
might want to do a Facebook Live video about one of these topics, or create a newsletter or email campaign. There's so many different ways that you can go. And that's one of the things that we are passionate about with our channel, is about helping people really recognize how they can be visible in just their everyday things, the things that they are already doing, how they can maximize on that. So the conversation today is around relationships. So I want to start with, what are some ways that we can make sure that we kind of build and nurture our relationships? A lot of times, we run into, business goals and family goals, and sometimes they can kind of clash or conflict with one another. And it can kind of make a strain on some of our relationships. So, I want to go around and kind of talk about the positives, about how we can, really work to build these relationships and keep them healthy. So we will start with you, Anita. Your
I know
name
she's gonna put me on the
A.
spot.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna start putting
Sorry,
Renee because that's my middle name, and I know it's yours too. So I'm gonna start putting Renee Page so that I can, because that's my maiden name. I need to go. I'm legally supposed to be that, but anyway, that's another story for another article. Yes. So I'm just trying to spend some time because I'm trying to get my thoughts together. What she was just asking, if that's not obvious already, but I think back to when I was married, right? We had 4 sons, and I was very active in my church. I was very active, with at the time. But I did a lot of different businesses, right? But one of the main ones that I did once upon a time was I had at home daycare, and we had kids in our house 24/7. When I say 24/7, you all, we did, people that had shift jobs as well as normal hours. We had people that worked weekends. So we always had somebody's kids at our house. And it could get very hectic. And I remember when I was pregnant with my last son, we were also actually foster parents. Okay. So yeah, we were doing the most. So I can remember being pregnant with my last son, who is now about to be 23. Oh my God. So I remember, actually, no, it was the third one, y'all. I get them confused. And Lachelle, I know, you know, like, I shouldn't even have a struggle compared to you. So it was actually my third born. He was born early. We were visiting Mississippi, and I had him. I think I don't know, he was like 4 pounds or something when he was born. But anyway, I remember that he had to stay in the hospital an extra week. And then I had to stay with him. So when I went back home with him, my newborn baby, I had parents that still showed up, y'all, with their kids. And I was like, what are y'all doing? Y'all know I just had a baby, right? I mean, like, just had this baby. And he is a preemie. But, I had to set boundaries because other people will not establish your boundaries for you. I learned real quick to, understand boundaries, and it's okay to say no. not be greedy. It was like, I was getting paid, but if I needed to give them some of their money back, I needed to be okay with that because my health and the health of my baby was more important to me than getting this money and helping these people because they didn't have anybody. So I ended up doing it for that one day or whatever, but I had to tell them, we can't do this right now. I got to take a break. So we have to set healthy boundaries for ourselves because if we don't, nobody else will. So that was one thing that I learned with that whole experience is setting boundaries are healthy for everybody,
Yeah.
for the other people and for you.
I,
So
I
that's my spiel on that.
I love that, and I used to have a home daycare as well. And then we moved our daycare into a house that was kind of modified to be like a daycare center in another location. And I left the daycare to go have one of my children. And we had some younger kids that were working with the children. And I took my time off. When I came back, some of my kids left because of the care that the other people were giving them when I was gone. And so, again, boundaries are so important. And I think I would have not been in a space to even understand that if I hadn't taken that time myself. Because I would have been personally immersed in, oh my gosh, they left, and what am I going to do, and all this. But you realize that you have to do what's best for you in the moment because you can be in a better place to receive and give to other people. So we just keep on having more things in common. And so, Ari, I want to give you the same question. What are some things that you do to keep the relationship healthy?
I think one of the things I've learned over time too is like having realistic expectations. I think sometimes we have expectations of people that aren't always realistically, they're just not what it's not a what's the word, attainable. You want to make sure, anytime you setting goals, people will talk about SMART goals. And one of the things is like, it's got to be something that's like attainable. So even with your friendships and relationships, expecting things out of people that they are not able to currently give you or is outside of their capacity, you are going to set yourself up to get your feelings hurt, it just doesn't go very well. And people aren't allowed to be themselves because you've put this expectation on them that they're not able to ever meet or achieve. And nobody wants to feel like they're always a failure somewhere. So it causes this back and forth and this, bumping heads that doesn't have to be there if we are having realistic expectations and can meet people where they are and accept them for where they are. That doesn't mean you have to get walked all over. You can still say, okay, I accept that that's where you are. And that either is a good or a not good thing. And that means that you'll have this space in my life, but maybe you won't have this access. So just being able, and that goes with what Anita was saying about boundaries, because the boundaries are not for other people. That's for you. That's so that you are able to be healthy within yourself. The only thing they got to do is just respect it. That's it. They don't have to agree. So I think the expectations kind of go hand in hand with that.
I love that. That was really a good one. I mean, I wish I had known that a long time ago. Know, that would have saved me a lot of headache, heartache, and everything else. So I love that. All right. So Jennifer, same question. What are some things that you do to maintain a healthy relationship?
For me, it's communication. From the beginning. And I'm going to bring something up that I know you girls have gone through this. Okay. And I'm going through this right now, and it just irks me, but that's where the communication comes in. I get some friend requests, right? On my professional profile, not on my personal, on my professional. Everything is about the magazine. I am not putting jokes. I'm not posting jokes about it. It's my professional profile. And I get this couple of gentlemen with, hello, beautiful. You have a beautiful name. Where do you live?
So true.
Right there. Thank you for joining my profile. This is a professional profile. Is that how you speak as a professional? Let me give you some advice of how to speak to others in a professional environment. You do not talk to people like that. And I go on and on and like, I think you need some classes of how to being a professional. If you like, I have some excellent coaches that can teach you how to be a professional.
Amen. Let's talk about it.
Creak, creak, creak. So when you run into that person that is pushing you a little, that violates your boundaries, that is crossing over, communicate. Don't dance around it. Put a stop to it and say, hold on just a second. Let me clarify where we are in this relationship. Stand back. Now, if we're friends, obviously for a long time, I might allow you to tell me some things that I want somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to develop a good and respectful relationship, communication is key. This is with your clients or with your spouse or with your friends. A communication is key. If you don't tell your spouse, I don't like when you do this because it makes me feel blank, then
Mm-hmm.
they will continue doing it. I don't like when you leave the toilet seat up because in the middle of the night I sit on it and I get my butt wet. I explained why it's important that he does what I need him to do. So the communication is clear. If I tell him, put the seat down every time you go to the toilet, he's like, why? You know, why should I? I mean, you could put it down. But I think communication is so key for everything, for big relationships, little relationships, business relationships, relationships with your children, relationships with your parents. Um, if you don't explain why you're doing something, they don't understand why. And people, some people are really dense.
It's true.
And you have to like pretty much have a chart to explain things. Don't be afraid to explain it twice. Yes,
Chart, arrows, flashlights, got to do all of
yes.
the things.
Hello.
Road map, like draw it, circle it,
Well,
star it, asterisk it,
I
point.
think,
That
really,
point right there to the yes.
but
Right.
a lot of it too is I think that a lot of people are distracted. They're really not thinking a lot of times. We're like on autopilot. I just can only
Yes.
say myself. I've been there for so long where I'm just trying to make it through another day, and people were saying things and it's just not registering, if I don't have to do something immediately. You know what I mean? I forget.
Right.
Like I'm just nodding my head. My daughter is like, Mom, can I have your keys? Because I'm about to go to whatever and I'm doing something. That's the one thing. I'm really not 100% present. And
Right.
I'm like, yeah, yeah. And so then 5 minutes later, I'm looking for my keys. Where are they at? Now, why did she just take my car? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, Mom, I told you weren't listening. So,
That's right. That it is true. It is true that does happen to all of us. We've been there. I have been there many times when somebody just tells me something and it just goes ching ching, and I agree to it. And I'm like, you said you were gonna do this, and I was like, oh my god, really? I gotta do it. If I said it, you're committed to it.
it's
So
so
yeah, I
true. It's
totally
so
agree.
true. And hey, Kate, we're so glad you could
Okay,
join us.
how
We're
are
gonna
you?
we're gonna give you
Okay.
the mic so you can introduce yourself and then share maybe one thing to help you have healthy relationships.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate Thurman. I have a lot of things going on. So I am entrepreneur, of course. My husband and myself, we have our own nonprofit organization, Angelically Blessed, where we help families that are struggling to, pay bills or facing eviction. We have two programs underneath. I absolutely love them. Faith Safe Haven Men's Ministry is my husband's ministry, where they kind of help men get back into society, help them become entrepreneurs, and helping them find their way to God. And Faith Safe Haven Women's Ministry. That ministry, we minister to women who suffer in silence from sexual assault, domestic violence, mental abuse, financial restraint, and it's single mothers, and we also help them, find their way in the world and let them know that they don't have to live in what they've been through. You are not what you've been through. I am a TV producer. Graceful Gatherings with the Thurmans with my husband Christopher. I told you I got a lot going on.
Love it.
I am a mortgage loan originator. I'm licensed in all 50 states. So that's just a little bit about me. And what's the next question?
About the healthy boundary. Healthy relationships.
So what things that I do to help me stay
Mm-hmm.
in a healthy relationship? Pray.
Amen.
Listen, I'm gonna go to God. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't always been like this. It's been a struggle to get to this point. But now that I'm here, there's no turning back. First thing I'm gonna do is pray, and especially depending on the people that I'm trying to have these healthy relationships with, I'm gonna have a conversation with them, because I think the healthiest thing outside of praying is communicating and talking with them, because a lot of times we have a lot of misunderstanding, miscommunication, and me, the old me, Ari, all you guys know, I shut down, block, delete, and go. I don't do that anymore.
Amen.
I talk it out. So pray and talk it out to have healthy relationships.
I love that, because, talking it out can be a hard thing, but what has helped me is think about where I want to go, where I want to be on the other side of that conversation. And that has just helped me so much, because I used to get in my own way where I'm like, oh, they're probably going to say this and they're going to do this and all this. I'd have a whole blowout by myself and hadn't even talked to anybody.
Me too. Me too. It took you all of you all. I've gathered relationship with you guys. I've grown to love each and every one of you. That's why I said, whew, I used to be the one. I'm gonna just shut you out now, because I used to be like, well, they probably gonna say this about me, and they gonna do this, they gonna think that, and I used to roll my neck at myself. When I had a whole conversation about myself, and it was only me keeping me back. Now we're gonna talk about it.
I love that. Let's talk about it. That's what we all about, is talking about it.
Yeah.
So speaking of, communicating, healthy relationships, this is not the best segue, but we have a TV media tour that is happening with Zandra TV Network. So we're gonna play a quick clip and then we'll be right back, y'all.
Are you an entrepreneur, a visionary, a content creator? Do you feel overwhelmed, not quite sure where to start so that you can make the right impact? Join us for the TV Media Tour, May 30th and 31st. This all-inclusive media event will teach you how to leverage your story, your brand, and your mission so that you can amplify that story on TV and other media platforms. Go to tvmediatour.com and register for this unique master experience. It's time to amplify your story. tvmediatour.com. Register today.
I'm just going to say, I love being in the studio better than doing all this stuff behind the scenes. I'm just saying, I am just like, just put me in a chair with some lighting and microphones and, have at it. This is just stretching me, y'all. But the TV media tour. So we're talking about visibility. We're talking about, making new relationships and building on the ones that we have. So we have a segment that, Anita and I were just talking one day, and I thought, let's just kind of do something creative. So this segment is called 6 Degrees of Separation. And so it's all about who is in your network. I have never even seen the movie. Me and Ari were talking about it before we hit go live. But for this segment, we're talking about how close you can be to certain people just by being who you are and how you're visible and how you show up. So it's 6 degrees, who is in your network. So the first thing I want to say is that we had a red carpet event in Dallas. And so you could see that the producers are there. Some of the other producers, we highlighted Kelly Flowers, who is actually I think she's a producer with Zandra. It's crazy, y'all. We got so many things happening, but Long story short, she has a nonprofit. She's doing phenomenal things. And she was featured on the Jennifer Hudson show. So when I saw that she was attached to Zandra and the things that she was doing, I thought, wow, let's just honor her at the red carpet event. So she was honored and she was on the Jennifer Hudson show. Well, a few days, maybe just a few weeks ago, I am connected to Tanya and her husband, Michael. They have their own podcast. I've been a guest on their show. They've been a guest on mine. And so one of her clients was on the Jennifer Hudson show just here recently. And she's a mom of 7. And she climbed 7 different mountains or something. And so that's really the segment that she was on the Jennifer Hudson show. And then while we were in Dallas, we were also on Cyrus Webb's show. Now, Cyrus Webb had us on a couple of times highlighting the book. She said yes. Well, we went on his show and we were talking to him in Dallas. And he had a guest, Cedric the Entertainer, and that guest was on the Jennifer Hudson show. So the thing that I'm saying is, I don't know how close we are to Jennifer Hudson, but it could be something happening in the near future. But we also had this situation where Anita and I were at the same launch for How Money Works for Women, and we didn't see each other. But as a result of us later on coming together, connecting conversations and relationships, we were able to participate in an event where Kim Schooler, who was one of the authors of How Money Works for Women, was the keynote speaker for that. So again, you never know who in your network you might be connected to. And I think that's really important to nurture those relationships, because you just never know when they're going to come around full circle, when somebody is going to ask you, who do you know? And this is part of the things when it comes to building relationships. It's about maintaining that, right? Letting people know. I have a virtual bookstore. And so I have been going through my network and saying, hey, if you want to put your book in my virtual bookstore, I would love to highlight you and, help promote you in having more visibility for your book. And I just recently got a note from one of the authors, and she's like, well, I'm not really promoting my book right now. I'm doing something else. So when it comes to relationships, if I had never asked, I would never know what it is that she's doing now that's different than her and how she was promoting herself before. So I think that whole thing about really maintaining these relationships and keeping them in a healthy place is important. So my next question is, what are some tips that we can give everybody, or some tools or strategies for staying in communication with people that are in our network? I know that we can be in different places, from Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You might have a YouTube channel. You're on Twitter. I mean, all these different things. So how do you keep it organized with those relationships? So I'm going to start with Kate first. We're going to give Anita a little bit of a break and go back around the other way. All right. So Kate, we'll start with you. How do we keep up with our relationships? What are some tools or strategies that you would suggest?
Some tools or strategies I would say to keep up with the relationship. I've already said communication. I'm always going to say that. I think knowing who you're in a relationship with, and once you create those boundaries with someone and you have those set, I think the boundaries is what keep a relationship together and keeps it strong. Everybody being comfortable in that relationship, keeping the communication open, so hey, I'm comfortable with this, I know you're comfortable with that. And that way, I think if we keep that way, whatever kind of relationship it is, a friendship, a business relationship, a marriage, if you're a parent, whatever the relationship is, I think that we have to all know that they have boundaries. Even with my kids, They just little people, but they have feelings too. And they, I think my daughter was the one that told me when she was about 16, 17. She's like, Mommy, just because I'm 16, 17 doesn't mean that I don't have feelings. And I have, you have to give people their space. You have to make sure that you respect their space and you give them a little bit of time to, gravitate to what's going on with you. And I think you owe them the same respect.
Mm-hmm. Love that. That was good. There's so many, and I'll take notes, y'all, because there's nothing like in the moment. You hear something, you're like, that is good. I'm gonna write that down. All right. So Jennifer, we're over to you. What are some tools, tips, strategies that you would suggest about these relationships?
I know we are in different social medias. Like you mentioned, we are in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But one of the things that I definitely try to do is connect with, if I have people that I'm constantly communicating in one social media, I try to connect in all the other social medias as well. And share what they are posting, share what they are interested on, and comment on it. Although I might not talk to them constantly, I like for them to know that I am involved in. So I try to do it across the board. And, when somebody friends me or sends me a request in Instagram or in Facebook, I make sure that I go and look them up on the other social medias to try to connect with them at the same time and make it easier across the board. But like Kate said, you have to be able to communicate and have boundaries and know who wants a relationship back, because sometimes the fact that you want a relationship with that person and you feel like, oh, this person would be a cool friend, or this person is awesome for me to talk to, or I think I could learn from them, but that person doesn't care or doesn't give you the time of day, and then give them their space. They will find you soon enough because you're following each other. Some people just follow somebody just to be in the connection. And I found that, if I'm working too hard on that relationship, but it's only from one side, I just give them their space. When it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And you sooner or later connect. It might not be the first time, the second time, it could be 3-4 months before you actually connect and realize that, oh, I could hang out with her. I could, she could be part of my crowd. Let's do it. So don't despair. I mean, follow back, keep on trying, but don't try too hard. If it's not reciprocal, give them their space.
Love that. I like that tip about connecting on all socials at one time. I think that was good because later on, if you have some kind of strategy or routine with your social media, you never know. I mean, you and we just got connected yesterday, I think, on LinkedIn. Okay.
I know. And it's so funny because I always tag you. And, when I saw that, I was like, no wonder I never see your things coming up on my feed, but I'm always tagging you. Like, I guess I assumed that we've known each other for so long. I assumed you were part of it. I'm tagging you along.
It's so true. So yeah, that is a good tip right there because it does happen, that you're not connected with people. So that's good. All right, Ari, we're over to you. Same question. Some tips or strategies for keeping up with people.
I think everything everybody mentioned already, I'm definitely on board with. I think earlier when Kate was talking about prayer, I think that's a huge one in keeping in touch. Like, just keeping things organized, being led in that area when it comes to people. That even goes to what Jennifer was talking about as far as, when to give people their space, when to come in closer, when to it takes that leading to be able to do that. I think also too, maybe being open as well to all your relationships not looking the exact same. I think sometimes we think like to be a friend, it's got to look like this, or for us to be close, it's got to look like this. And it's like, but for every relationship with every person, it might look different, but it doesn't mean y'all are not close or y'all are not friends. Like I have friends I talk to every day. There's some we don't talk but maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but we're going to pick up where we left off at, and we're just as close. And if I need them, they coming, so it's just being open to having different varieties of relationships and not putting so much pressure on the relationship and letting both of y'all just be authentically who y'all are. And like, it's all right. Like, you might not be a phone person. That's cool. You might not be a text message person. All right. Like, don't put everything in such a, like, it gotta be this way, and then keeping them authentic, especially when you get to the business piece. I think the thing I'm seeing that I want to try to make sure that I keep in mind is, like, whenever I'm making these connections and it's on a business level, making sure that it's authentic. We may not need to be best friends, but at the same time, if I ain't feeling how you moving and your values and mine don't align, I'm not going to force a connection with you just because you could get me something. It's not worth that for me, because my character means a lot. In that area. I value character over, what you could get me, because everything is an exchange. You got to, you're going to give something up to get something, but what are you giving up to do that? And if you got to give up a piece of your soul or yourself or your characters or your value, that relationship with that person is not worth it. So I think in the business world, keeping it authentic, you do have to make certain decisions that aren't about emotions, but making sure that you're moving with people that align with your values and where you are, and not trying to force yourself to be in these other rooms because, it looked like it could get me something. Like, no.
I love that. That was really, all those things you brought up, that could be a whole conversation, because that is really so true. What are we giving up? What is really the cost for some of these relationships? That is key. So I love that you mentioned that. And, everybody's relationship is not the same. I mean, I was just immediately thinking about my kids, right? Because some of them, they got to come and hug me every day. And, I got to look at them in the eye and you talk to them for 5 minutes. Other ones are just like, they're texting me and that's it. I don't even see them. It's like, wait a minute, did you eat dinner? What I'm saying? So yeah, I totally resonate with that. All right. So Anita, we're over to you. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, look, these ladies have talked about the richness of what they've shared already. Is like, what's left, right? But one of the things that I was thinking about, even, before we got on tonight, is, I feel like, and you actually brought it up, and I think it actually ties into something that everybody has said. I might have shared, I think, with you all in another episode or something we did, that I finally realized that I was a connector, right? And I had to recently learn how to be okay with that, because, there were times when I felt like I had been used, and it's like, and they ain't gonna drop me on the side of the road. I feel like a, red-haired stepchild. I'm like, excuse me, remember me? Hey, remember me? I'm the one put y'all together. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But I had to learn. I was like, well, the Holy Spirit showed me, look, you did your role. Know your role. Know your role in different relationships and be okay with it. And that's where I've gotten to. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm okay with it, And, I think it was a year or so ago, the one that really, recent, that's the most recent to me that really, I was just like, oh, I can't believe, I just really felt hurt, just to be honest. I felt hurt. And then I felt like that redhead stepchild, right? I was left on the outside when I done brought all these people together, and then it's like, oh, now y'all don't need me. But it was, like I said, I had to learn, and I saw the richness in the value that they brought when they got together for each other. And I realized, I was like, that is way more important than my feelings. My emotions have nothing to do with this. This was a God connection that I was orchestrated to be the instrument to bring it together. And once I had completed my role and my assignment, I didn't necessarily have to be in it anymore at the level that I thought I needed to be in it, right? So I believe knowing our roles in different relationships is very important. And I think that ties into, some things that Ari said, Jennifer and Kate,
Mm-hmm.
because boundaries is very important in that. Communication is important and not expecting, again, that all relationships are supposed to be the same, right? They're not equal, and it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Accept it, and that's just where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with it. When I see it, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is just another connection I've made.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see where it goes. I might
Mm-hmm.
still remain in it, I might not. But as long as everybody's good and the opportunity, to expand and to grow and to build, to me, is the ultimate goal. So, knowing our roles in relationships, I think, is very important.
I love that. That really is a good one because that can be a hard thing where you feel like when you connect people, the fact that they kind of know, they're connected for a purpose. But, if you're not clear about what your role is, you feel like, okay, they don't need you, or, it's just something where you feel excluded, and I mean, I totally resonate with that. I had to go through that many times. And now I've learned that, it really is a lot. It's a light place to be. It's not heavy anymore, because I used to be so invested in making sure that every connection was just 100%, that they would go the next step and everything, kind of micromanaging, right? And the minute that I just said, you know what? Now I just know this person who does this. Y'all may or may not work out, but I just want to give you the information. That has just been a game changer for me. And it has opened up so many doors because just as I was showing in those clips, Tanya and Michael, they send me people all the time. I'm always getting introductions from them just because I know where I stand in certain relationships, and that has just been a game changer. So, totally resonate with that. And so, my tip is to always find ways that you can support people that are in your network. Making sure that you highlight them when you can with great things that they're doing. And so, we have a clip here from Jennifer who just did a interview recently.
Advice to you that service is a gift that we all should give. So when somebody asks you to do something, or if you're beginning to do your business on your own, remember to say, how may I serve you?
I'm a work in progress, y'all, because no music for the last little segment, but that's not my gift, y'all. But I love that clip though, Jennifer, because again, it's the mindset to want to serve other people. And I think when we are conscious about that, that just can make our relationships so much better and stronger. Because we're not always in this mode of scarcity, like somebody has to do this for me or whatever, but you're coming from abundance if you're even thinking that you're serving other people. So I just love that clip and wanted to highlight that. But this has been a great start to a lot of great points that everybody has made today, and we hope that everybody watching has got some value from the conversation. And so we're going to go around and share any final thoughts and how everybody can get a hold of us. I do want to also say that we are going to be having a grant funding class with Anita on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. So we'll be sure to put that link in the comments. But we are so excited to have you guys join us, and we encourage you to share these videos, because this is just, again, just like a little spark, an igniter to get conversations going. Maybe you have a point that we didn't cover and you want to add that in the comments, or maybe you want to tag us and write an article about it, or make a post. So it's all about just being a fire starter for people to get their visibility going. Some people are kind of shy in that area. So this is just to get you started. So we will go around and share our final thoughts and where everybody can get a hold of us. So Kate, over to you.
Final thought for me. I got in here late, y'all. But my final thought for the tips, I wanted to piggyback back on that. And watching a video with you, Jennifer, when you said, always ask, how can I serve you? I thought that was powerful. So I'm going to say to everyone listening, when you're serving people, if you're doing it from the heart, you don't have to always try so hard. And when you ask them, how can I serve you? They're going to see it right there. It's going to be all over you. So when you do things, always do it from your heart. And I can be reached on everything: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram as Kate Thurman. And my email, one of many, Graceful Gatherings 811@gmail.com. I got a lot going on. So, and I hand it back over to the next person. Back to you, Lachelle.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you were here, Kate, and you came right on time, girl. You making things happen. So, we just glad that you were able to just spend a little time with us. So that's amazing. You're doing great things.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Now, Jennifer, we're over to you. Your final thoughts and where everybody can get a hold of you.
Thank you very much, Miss Lachelle. My final thoughts is relationships are difficult, and sometimes it's good if you put yourself in the position of that other person. This month that we're talking a lot about perspective in the magazine, and it's easy to get upset when somebody doesn't come through to you for you, or they offer to do something and they don't. And if it's habitual, be realistic with your expectations, just like Ari said. But if it's not very often that this happens with this person, be thoughtful, because you don't know what kind of person, what kind of problem they had that day, what kind of day they had, what came up. And again, give them a little space, communicate, let them come to you. But let them know, I'm surprised this happened, but please let me know what happened. I'm concerned about you. I hope everything is okay with you. Mm-hmm. We're very quick to judge. Mm-hmm. And when you're in that position, when you're in that position, you would hope that that person on the other side has a little understanding for what's going on in your life. Mm-hmm. And when you approach it with kindness and empathy, you can build on that relationship. Mm-hmm. But don't let them run over you. I mean, you have to have boundaries. If this is something that is going on and happens over and over again, cut it off. Don't continue. You're just being used. So, but have empathy. For me, empathy, I think, it's key.
Love that. And tell everybody about, you guys have some specials going on with the magazine.
We do. We have the first thing that we have is on the 20th. We are doing a webinar own perspective.
Mhm.
How to, how they always say perspective is reality, perception is reality. We have to
Mhm.
change our perspective to see things different. So that's
Mhm.
what we're going to do. It's a webinar on how to get yourself out of the situation so you can view it in a different light.
Mhm.
In that webinar, you can register at our website at www.i-am-magazine.com. I think you guys all are in there. And register, just go to the event. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday the 20th. So that's going to be, I think, a lot of information. Bring your pen and paper and take some notes there. The other thing that we have coming up is a trip to Morocco on September 30th through the 5th. That it's a leadership. It's also in the event section on our website. So I invite you to check it out and get some additional information on it. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be great with great information and leadership. I expect a lot of women to do this. And let me see, I think I'm gonna save it for the next time. I have something coming up that is big, but I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, I have something big coming.
I
The other
love
thing,
that. I love that. Yeah, we love big things. So hey, y'all need to come back next week so we can hear what some of these big things are. So
absolutely.
Ari, we're over to you.
So final thoughts for me. I would say to people, make sure that like any relationships that you have or that you're building, that they are just a complement of you and it is not how you are identifying yourself. Because if everything that you are identifying yourself in is attached to other people, you're gonna have a real rough existence that way. Every relationship you get is a compliment, more
Mhm.
for you to give out than necessarily, for what you can get out of it if you are serving others. And with that is going to come, some things that are going to be uncomfortable. You can't get around that when you're
Mhm.
serving others. You're going to be uncomfortable sometimes.
Mhm.
So I would just say, be okay with being uncomfortable. That's the thing I've had to tell myself. Be okay with being uncomfortable. And don't look, those outside relationships can't validate you. Cannot.
I love that. That was good. And where can they get a hold of you at?
Oh, you can hold of me on social media handles. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn at Ari Wells. You can reach out to me that way. I have some stuff coming up with my business where I'll have some more solid ways of getting in touch with me here
Mhm.
soon. I have some business development stuff that I'm about to get involved in. So I'm excited so that I can get my stuff in place legally like the way it's supposed to be. So y'all
Amen.
just keep me in prayer that way as
Amen.
things are growing and developing at my pace.
Amen. I love that. All right. And Anita, we're over to you.
No, I'm over here doing the most. I got a challenge on my phone. I'm trying to listen to see what they saying. And I told Dr. Trace, I'm sorry, I'm in podcast right now. I'll be over there in a minute. Don't put me in no room. Don't be put me in no room. Think I'm finna say something. I ain't finna say nothing over there. But anyway, y'all know I got to laugh about something because I got to stay awake over here. We got to stay alert and alive. Look, my last words are, this is a very important conversation to have. Is talking
Mhm.
about relationships,
Mhm.
personal relationships, professional relationships. This is a very important conversation to have. And when we have it, we don't need to just think one time is enough. We
Right.
need to evaluate. It's just like having a job. I'm sorry to have to say this, but when you invest it in a relationship, no matter what kind it is, like I said, personal or professional, you need to revisit it every now and then
Mhm.
and reevaluate and assess where it is, where it's going, where it's not. Again, like I said, knowing your role in it. Is it, are you being pulled more from than you're receiving?
Mhm.
Right. So evaluate and, and revisit that periodically because, like I said, relationships are just like anything else. If you don't nurture them and take care of them, they will die. Okay. So we have to take care of them. So that's one of the ways to take care of them is to assess and reevaluate periodically so you know where you at, where you need to be, and where you're going. Okay, so how you reach me? So you can reach me on most things social media as Anita in the Biz Coach, and that is on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and sometimes on Unalignable. I forget about it a lot of times, but I've heard I'm still there. So I appreciate y'all, and I yield the mic. Thank you so much, as always, Lachelle, for providing this platform.
I love that. All right. She has to go. But when she was talking about that evaluation, I was thinking about, I need to do that with my relationship with food, because, I am always coming up short in that area. So I need to figure that out. But, my final thought is, you never know who's watching. I happen to be on Clubhouse today, and we have a room that Chanel usually hosts on Tuesday mornings, and she wasn't there today. And a gentleman in our membership opened the room, Albert. Some of you may know him, but Albert opened the room. It was a She Said Yes room, and the topic was accountability matters. And so he just started the room. We ended up having more men in the conversation than women. And from that conversation, I was like, we need to have a special room for Father's Day, because this is important stuff that you guys are talking about. So long story short, in that time of having that room, we set up a Father's Day room, and the gentlemen who were there are going to be co-hosts of that room. And they're thinking about having focus groups and talking about really hashing out the topics that they're going to discuss. And I just thought, isn't that amazing? All because you never know who's watching, who is willing to pull up the slack if you're not there or whatever. That's what support and community is all about. So you never know who's watching. Keep being you. Consistency matters. And, you guys can always find me all over the place on social media. But we want to thank all of you for watching today. We have really enjoyed this conversation. And we just say, have an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you guys next time. Bye for now.
Are you ready to elevate your brand to new heights and make a lasting impact globally? Collaborate with You Make a Difference TV and unlock unparalleled opportunities to reach your audience.
What's coming with me into the new year? What do I want to
engage your community and make a difference on a global scale? Whether you're a business or nonprofit, our platform provides a unique space to showcase your story.
That special ed wall comes with the food. We definitely will.
Let's embark on a journey together to make a difference in your community and beyond. Join us and shape your future of your brand today. Reach your audience, reach your community, reach the world on You Make a Difference TV. Contact